Good morning, Spartans. Welcome to another tutorial. This one is our first Adobe Illustrator tutorial. So I'm going to show you what we've learned up to this point in these first couple weeks. And let's start off with a new document. And we're going to go ahead and make this basic RGB raster effects 72. Okay, and I'm using my software here at home, so the settings are slightly different, but we'll go ahead and use a 5x5 canvas or artboard. We're going to call this basic shapes, and we're going to click OK. Okay, so let me go ahead and reset the workspace here. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull out the layers. And I'm going to pull out the appearance. Okay. Alright. So, as you know, we have default fill and a stroke, a default fill of white and a stroke of black with the 1 point stroke weight of value of 1 point. So if I were to drag out a rectangle here, you will see that appearance is correct in the appearance palette. If I hold down Control, I'll get a black arrow. Don't forget, any tool you use, if you do hold down that Control, you'll get that black arrow. That black arrow is your direct selection tool. That allows you to move it around, resize it, rotate. Okay. Pretty much the same function as the move tool in Photoshop. Now in Photoshop you have to remember use Control-T to get the free transform. In Illustrator you don't need to do that. You just, selection is merely clicking that object to get those handles and that bounding box. I find this much easier. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tear off this shape, and that allows you to find the other shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the next one over, rounded rectangle. Now you might notice that I have guides indicated by the green lines that seem to appear at certain moments. And what it's trying to do, it's called Smart Guides, but it's trying to align itself with the next object or the previous object. You can either turn it on or off under the view. I tend to keep it on. It doesn't bother me, so I'm just going to keep it on. Okay, next shape over is the ellipse tool. And so right now we're just seeing the different characteristics of those individual shapes. I'm going to go back to the rectangle here and I'm going to color it. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the fill. You notice the red and you notice the black stroke. If I like, I could bring out that palette, the stroke palette, and I can change the weight of that stroke either in the stroke palette or up in the options or the control panel up at the top here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to just go ahead and increase that value. I've got it at a 5 point value. Another thing you can do is, as I zoom in here, you can change the position of that stroke, under the alignment, by default it's going to have a center alignment. You can see that half of it's below and half of it's above. So you have some choices there. You can have stroke to the inside or stroke to the outside. Okay? On to the next shape. We found out that if you use the command Shift-X, it should reverse the fill-in stroke as you see here. I can also hit the letter X and bring up the stroke, or I can hit X again and it reverses that. Okay. Again, Shift-X toggles or swaps the fill in the stroke. Okay. Moving on to the next shape, I'm holding down Control and I can then select that oval shape. As you see, we have, sorry for the interruption. Okay, moving on. Let's go to our layers palette and see what's going on with my objects as they appear in the layers palette. As you know, the layers palette is a little bit different than Photoshop. As soon as you draw an object on the artboard, it creates its own sublayer known as a path. You can name your path. I can call this ellipse. It's always a good idea to name your paths so that you can keep track. It's easy to build up sublayers very quickly, and before you know it, you'll have many subpaths, and then they're all going to be called paths, and you're going to it will be difficult to locate them. I'm going to call layer 1 shapes. Okay, and as you see, each layer has an assigned color. In this case, the default color for the first layer is light blue. I'm going to add a new layer above that, and you'll get a red assignment. I'm going to go ahead and take my polygon tool now. That's the next shape, and I'm going to choose a color, and of course I'm going to undo that. First I'm going to deselect, so hold down Control and just click somewhere on the artboard so none of the objects are selected. Notice that that blue little rectangle, that blue little square goes away if there are no objects selected on the artboard. So now I'm going to choose a different color, and as I drag out, I can hold down the space bar and move it into a position. So I'm just going to move it right above. Then I'm going to drag it out again. Okay. I'm holding Shift now, and that allows me to rotate and keep that shape flat. And then I'm going to let go. And there's the polygon. Now, if you click any shape one time on the artboard, you can give it some specific features. So in the case of the polygon, I'm going to give it a 5-sided characteristic. I'm going to change that radius to 0.5 inches, and I'm going to click OK, and there you have it. Next shape over is a star. So currently I have my polygon selected, but I'm going to go ahead and hold down Control and click off that object to deselect it. Remember, Photoshop was Control D, but there is no Control D for deselect in Illustrator. You just have to hold down Control and click away. Now, I notice that I have that polygon in the blue area. I'm going to go ahead and click both subpaths in my first layer here. I'm going to hold down Shift and select both those paths, and I'm going to highlight them and move them into layer 2. You see how I did that? Now they're in layer 2, and I'm going to call layer 2 polygon. or polygons, plural, and click OK. Notice the red assignment to that layer. Notice the red boxes indicating that they are selected. Okay, I can click on a target to deselect, or I can click on a target to select. Both will do the same thing. So to turn it off, I just click the target again in a different path, in a different sublayer. Okay, moving forward. I'll close up the polygon layer and the shape layer. I'm going to add a new one. This one's going to be called stars. I'll just click, and click OK, and you see the green assignment for that layer. Now I'm going to go ahead and drag out a star. If I hold Shift, it keeps it upright. Change the color. I'm going to hit X and bring up that stroke, and I'll change that color to this orange color. Maybe I'll go ahead and align the stroke outward. Okay. Maybe bring up that weight just to be different. We always like variety. Now, one more time, I'm going to go ahead and drag out a star, but this time, while I'm dragging it out, I'm going to use my up arrow. And as you see, the up arrow gives it more points. The down arrow will take those points away. Okay? Another thing you can do while you're dragging out your star is hold down Control. And that allows you, as you drag your mouse, it allows you to lengthen the diameter of those points. Option tends to keep it in a fixed pattern. Okay, and I'm going to let go. And of course, it'll take on the colors from my previous star, but I'm just going to simply swap those colors, Shift X, and you get that nice display. Okay, so that concludes the shape building exercise. There is one last shape. Tends to be overused because it's a little different. It's interesting, isn't it? But I'm going to choose not to use that. I haven't quite figured out when I want to use that flare tool, but I'm sure you'll find a way to use it. Okay, I hope this mini tutorial helps, and the next lesson will be on using the Pathfinder, building up those shapes and creating compound paths. Thank you for watching.